Hi. I'm wearing my hat right now, but I don't know if I'm going to wear this hat too much longer because it's really small. I don't want it to pull off the hair that I got left on my head. It is a local guide's hat. I'm going to tell you how I got this hat. I was on a vacation. We were going to see my mom. Actually, we were coming back from seeing my mom in Ada, North Carolina. And the car broke down. Couldn't go any further. And we were at this intersection. I think it was 80 and near 95, but it was somewhere two of the main. I think maybe 40 and 95. But the car broke down, and the intersection was so busy that my wife had to call a an Uber driver to drive her and the kids across the road so that they could get out of the way of the traffic and get to a hotel. And I waited for the tow truck dude, and he came and picked me up, and we towed the car to some dealer down in Raleigh to get it fixed. And then he gave me right back. And that night we went to a Mexican restaurant, and we were all talking, and they were interested in eating there. And they had some computer games and books that they were going to look at, and I didn't know I was going to look at that night or think about. Really wasn't looking forward to watching television. And I recalled that I had read something about Google Maps where they had set this thing up where you could go in and take pictures, and then you get points for taking the pictures. And I thought, okay, that sounds like a game. Maybe I'll play that game. So we went out to get Mexican food, and we're having the food. And I thought, well, this is a good place to start. I'll just take a picture of the food because that was part of the game, it seemed, right? So I took pictures of the food. Chimichangas, tacos. I turned around, I took a picture of the room, and it was an empty room. So the next day came around, and it was about time to get the car. We picked the car up. Everything was great. They did everything wonderful, and I decided, okay, I had a few minutes while we were waiting to get the car service. I was going to go check the photographs and see what happened if I got some points, because I could. That seemed like a fun interactive game to play. And well, the chimichangas, they got like 15 views, tacos maybe 5-10 views, but the empty room had gotten over 1,000 views. And so you get that's what you get. You get a view. So I thought that's strange. How did that happen? What was that? What could have caused something like that? I'm in information technology, so this was a very interesting thing to me. Sorry. It was interesting. So I started taking pictures, and I became a aficionado is probably more not quite a good word for it. I hesitate to say fanatic, but my wife was like, cool it, and the kids didn't like me taking pictures of the food all the time, so I had to take it and do them separately. So I would go to parks, museums, and when I was visiting businesses on my own, then I would take the photographs. And I kind of isolated my activity because they weren't into it. So I continued doing that. And then after a year, I got an invitation by email. Hey, you're doing the Google Maps thing. You're a local guide. How would you like to try for a chance to come out to California? And all you got to do is do this thing. Make a video, take a few pictures, and talk and write something about why you did it. So I did it. And I won. They said you could come and go out there. So I was like, oh, this is great. And I thought it was going to be going out there. And we were going to, like when you go to a conference and they talk about things and they show you stuff and then they give you swag and then you go home. That's what I thought it was going to be like. And it turned out that I thought it was going to be like that for another year because that time I couldn't go. I had to write back and say, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, see, it's on my cell phone. I'm sorry, I can't go. I got something else I got to do. Picture. So I couldn't go. So I didn't. And they sent me a pair of socks, though. So I thought, that's very nice of them. They sent me some socks. So I wore those socks. And then time goes by. Another 6 months goes by into the next year. And they send me another pair of socks. Hey, these guys are good, And these ladies and gentlemen out there, they really remember me for taking pictures of these. And I was like doing well in the area. I was taking a lot of photographs in the area. And then they had the contest again. So I entered it again. And I reminded them, hey, I was going to go last year, but I couldn't. But that I had to do the whole thing over again. I had new video. There was all new sorts of stuff. So I entered it, and they said, come on out again. So I went out there, and it was not like what I thought it was going to be. We got to meet all of the heads of the mapping programming. We met the sales personnel, programming personnel. The CEO came down, finance CEO came down. They all met us. They took us out every day for adventures, and we learned how to interact with the vendors, for the people that have businesses that want to get them viewed by folks like restaurants and all sorts of craft places. My favorite one was we went to a florist, and then we learned how to ask questions of the business person, how to make an appointment so we could go in there and do some of that work and not be intrusive, right? But also let them know that we're there and that we're doing that and sharing with them. And I made a really cool terrarium. It was cool in a glass bowl, and it was got sand in it and everything. I'm just mentioning that because I took that from there in San Jose, California, and in the airplane all the way back to Detroit, all the way back to my house, and it still had the sand and the plants and everything. It was still good. So that was one of my travel things. So this is my hat from Local Guides, and I still am a local guide, and I talk to local guides all around the world. I talk to them in Australia, in Africa, in South Latin America, everywhere. Wisconsin, you wouldn't believe it, all over the place. So and I got the little hat here, and it is getting a little small. And while we're talking about it, let me show you what goes on here. If you got a local business, or a local business that you like, you can go in there and take photographs of it. And with Google Maps, it's more about the things that are in there. So not a lot of people's faces, but you'll see some of those things. But it's more like, oh, this person was, look, here's the paint, and then they show you how to do paint. Yelp, on the other hand, which I also do photography for, Yelp for business. There's a lot of people in there, a lot of interaction, and you'll see people's faces. So that's one slight difference between the two of them. But the main thing about Google Maps is it is about mapping. It's getting you from here to there. And with the images that you see of the places that you're going to, get an impression of what's going on there. And that's what was told to me, not by a person out in San Jose or anything like that. Someone said, that's probably why the photographs of the restaurant, the empty restaurant, got more views than the food did, because people like to know where they're going. They want to know what it looks like and see if that's an ambiance they like. And I thought, well, that's a good thing. So this is how you would contribute. You just go to your place. You can get yourself an account, a Google account, and then you go to a place and you can post your photographs. You don't even have to have an account. You can just post the photographs there when you're doing it. But I wanted to show you, because I'm showing off my little hat. But I wanted to show you the numbers I got here. So let's see. Back over here. Yeah, I know I've been using it for a long time, but I still have trouble finding my way to this screen. You can do reviews of places that you visit as well. You give them stars for different things, and you can write a little story about what happened there. Or you can't see that too well. Let's go back over this way. There you go. You can't see it all that well. So anyway, what we're looking at here, though, is I have, as of today, for all of the photographs I've taken, 1,187,889,700 views. That means theoretically about 1/5 of the entire world population could have looked at each one of these photographs separately. So there it is. And you can go in there and have fun doing reviews, taking photographs, sharing things that you'd like other people to see, or you'd like to remember when you go back to a place. And it's a lot of fun. People do see these things all over the world. And the mapping portion of it is very important, because it makes it easy for folks to get from one place to another without too much difficulty, and also allows you to participate. So that's what I had for you. I wanted to show you my hat. I think I need to hang it up or give it away. I don't know. It's getting too small. Has my head swollen as my numbers in Google Maps have increased? I don't know. So thank you very much, and have a great night, and enjoy yourself no matter what you're doing.